Hello, everybody. This is Barry, that Goat Metal Show, episode 20. Yeah. All right. Finally made it up to episode 20. Okay, we're going to see how this one goes about, okay? Again, in my car. This time I'm parked, waiting for my daughter to get out of work. Figured I might as well get an episode out of the way. Why not, right? Well, one of the things I want to talk about was something that was brought up. I should have mentioned in the last show when there was bands being discussed from the past, type of subgenres and stuff like that. And something came to mind where I was thinking about the Kevin Castle interview at the This Is Hardcore podcast. Mentioned a few times about All Out War and bands like All Out War, which basically bands like All Out War, Dark Side, my band, Goatamentise, we back then in that time in the 90s, I think we coined the phrase Deathcore to what it was meant to be. Unfortunately, Deathcore became somewhat of a high thread subgenre in the 2000s, where there was a lot of those, a lot of like metalcore style bands that were just adding death metal vocals to their stuff and breakdowns, and all of a sudden they said they were deathcore. Where when we were doing it, we were basically doing it in the realms of death metal and real hardcore, which, hardcore bands, Sick of It All, Agnostic Front, Madball, Sub-Zero, and, that was those were like one of the hierarchy of bands that we enjoyed when we were listening to hardcore. Like when I used to come, when we first started Goatamentise, me and Frankie always warmed up with listening to the band Grave, You Will Never See. That was like our warm-up song to listen to, right? We would listen to that song, get hyped. Then we would listen to some Sick of It All. It's Clobbering Time, and we would even play It's Clobbering Time, which was a lot of fun. And some Paradise Lost. They're sort of mixed up now onto their genres, but back then they were considered something like a gothic death metal. But that was our thing, And when we were doing that band and we were getting everything together, it was our intentions to have that sound where we wanted to have a mix of both genres in the music. And I gotta say, in the beginning, we kind of succeeded it. I mean, there's a few of our songs where you could really hear it. As we got older, the music started getting a little bit more technical, and some of the music was sounding more into the metal, death metal side. But I guess that happens to a lot of bands who are just, getting a little older, more musically inclined, and so on, and sometimes tends to fall off a little. But you still try to keep that same pace in there, and it will behoove you to most of the people who would want to know the true coin of deathcore. Listen to some All Out War, listen to some Dark Side, listen to some Goatamentise, okay? A lot of that old stuff, you're going to hear what it was like to hear the blending of both those genres in there. And it was a lot of fun. And in the 90s, that was when we were able to have those different types of shows where you had death metal bands playing with hardcore bands and, vice versa. And it was always a good blend, where back before, it used to be like if you was into a certain genre where you was just strictly into hardcore, they used to mess with kids who were into like thrash, and it was almost like a beef. But when we did deathcore and we were merging that style, it was just fun to have all those bands put together. You know, we had we played with Immortal Suffering, we played with Dying Fetus. You know, we've opened up for Madball. Um, you know, we played with Billy Club, which is, you know, one of our boys, and my best friend Martin's band, and Gary and Glenn and Malone. You know, and they're like those are guys are the epitome of hardcore, and you have the epitome of death metal. And it was always a fun crowd, because everybody was into it. But you know, it's like that with everything. You know, it's just, you know, at the end of the day, you're just having fun, right? And you know, there's nothing wrong with mixing genres together. You know, if it sounds good. You know, I mean, certain bands will pull it off the right way, and some bands sound like shit. You know, it is what it is. You know, but you know, we just all want to have fun at the end of the day. But yeah, you know, it just brought me back. You know, it brought me back to a good time where, you know, we used to have a bunch of shows, and it was always a mix of all sorts of bands: punk, hardcore, death metal. It didn't matter, you know. We even I remember even back in the days when we used to rent out a room in Music Unlimited. We used to share a room with a straight rock band, and it was an older bunch of dudes, but we all used to hang out, and it was fun listening to them play. They used to hang out, listen to us play. You know, at the end, it just, you know, whatever way you want to mix it, you know, just comes a fun time. And yes, you see me with New York Mets stuff. That's right. We're coming back. 2021, baby. Yeah. All right. I'm sure I'm pissed off a few Yankee fans. Y'all can all kiss my ass. All right. All right, guys. Well, why don't you let me know if there's some deathcore bands that maybe I have never heard of that's actually good, and they stick to the point of what deathcore really supposed to be. Not what some of those bands did in the 2000s. I mean, that wasn't really deathcore. I don't know what the hell that was, but you know, deathcore, which was hardcore death metal. You heard both influences, and it sounded awesome. Nothing like two aggressive styles of music just blending in nicely. But yeah, that's pretty much what was on my mind right now. Okay, give a shout out to my man JD. He's been popping out on my comments there. JD, man, thanks a lot for commenting, man, and following the show. JD, the original singer of Hellbound. You know, it's been some years, and you know, when people talk about reunions and comebacks and stuff, that's a band I would love to see a comeback on, man. Why not? You know, I mean, this generation needs to hear that style and to hear the way Hellbound played their music. And that was one of the best things I always enjoyed, was the fact that we all had our bands, and we all had our bands where it was our styles. Nobody sounded like nobody. There wasn't one song you could say sounded like this band. You heard the song come on. Yep, that's Hellbound. Yep, that's Irate. Yep, that's Goatamentise. Yep, that's Billy Club Sandwich. You never heard them saying, yo, Billy Club sounds like a Gnostic. Oh, Irate sounds like Metallic. No, you didn't hear none of that shit. All right? All the bands back then, you know, that was one of our cliches. We didn't want to sound like everybody else. And I think that was one of the best things in that generation that we had. Hopefully, yeah, I've been hearing some new bands. You know, some new bands here and there popping up, and it's good to hear that they're sounding a little bit original. A lot of them, you can hear some of the influences, but they're making it their own, and that's what it's all about. There's nothing wrong with having influences on some of the stuff you're trying to play, but try to keep it at a level where it's yours. All right? All right, this is Barry, that Goat Metal Show, episode 20. Okay? If you have anything that you guys want to tell me, throw it in the comments. Give me a like, give me a share. I got like 85 subscribers. Maybe throw a couple of people that say, you know, give me a couple of extra ones in there, man. Maybe try to reach it up to 100. Let's get to 100. Get to 100, all right? All right, guys. If you have any suggestions on things you want me to talk about, throw it in the comments, all right? And you know, I'll try to bring it up on the next show, throw some hashtags and stuff, and we'll see how it goes, all right? All right, guys. Once again, stay brutal, and let's just keep on hoping that metal continues to thrive. Yeah.